Okay, kids, it's time for another episode of the Fueled by Weird podcast, the only podcast where the pen is mightier than the sword and the microphone. I'm Chris Daly, and today I'd like to welcome Amy Piero to the show. Amy, what's going on?
Not much. How about you?
Not much, just another day in paradise, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I'm super glad that you were able to make it today. We've kind of followed each other online for a little while, and I've seen all the cool stuff you've been doing, so it's very awesome to talk to you. I'm super, super
Well,
excited.
thanks. Thank you. You
Yeah,
too. You do
absolutely.
some pretty cool podcasts.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So now, how I usually start these things out with an icebreaker question. So today's icebreaker question is, would you support National Avocado Day as a work holiday?
What?
Sometimes my questions are serious, sometimes they're a little bit funny. I like to mix things up a little bit,
That's
keep
pretty
people
out
on their
there.
toes, right?
That's pretty out there. Um, Probably not. Although that is really fun. I
Are
feel
you?
like there's a lot of, well, I don't know. It depends. Do you work for like a guacamole company? Because if so, then, maybe you can take the day off. That might be fun.
Sure.
But like, other than that, I don't know. What about you?
I mean, I think if you work at an avocado place, a company, I think every day is National Avocado Day, right?
Right.
Um, I think for me, I definitely would not. I'm not a big fan of avocado. Are you? Do you like avocado?
I like avocados. They can be good. Yeah, I like a good guacamole. Not too much garlic, but it can
Mm,
be really good.
nice. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. And my daughter's kind of the same way. She's a big fan of guacamole. She hates avocados. I don't understand
Ah.
how that works. I don't know. She's 10. I don't try to understand it. So I'm just
Oh
like
man.
whatever, it's
Yep.
fine.
Yeah, I've got a
Whatever works for
six-year
you.
old and yeah, both my kids. I have a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Oh,
Will
nice.
not eat mashed potatoes, but they love French fries. I'm like, they're the same thing. Like,
Mine's like that too. She doesn't like potatoes. French fries are okay. Chips are fantastic.
mhm.
Especially Doritos, fantastic. Yeah, but mashed potatoes, she's like, do I have to eat all these mashed potatoes? And she doesn't like rice either. So I think it's something with the starches, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Kids are
Yeah,
wild. But yeah, I
they are so weird.
6 and 2, that's a pretty good spread.
hmm
Mine
Yeah.
are 10 and 18. So I
Okay.
have a very similar spread. So I get that. So that's nice. And people thought I was crazy for basically starting all the way over having another kid, but I'm like, hear me out. A lot of people have their kids super close together so they can be friends and all that stuff. But me and my sisters and my brother, we were all within a couple years apart and we were never friends. So that whole logic I think is super flawed. Um,
Yeah.
Having one kid a little bit older is awesome because that kid can help you with stuff. Like
hmm
yours is probably still a little bit too young, but like diaper changing or feeding the baby or stuff like that, just little
Yes.
things like that are super helpful.
Yeah, yeah. We didn't quite change any diapers, but she's
Yeah.
definitely really
And
helpful.
see, there you go.
She's best big sister ever. I'm so proud
Nice.
of her.
That's awesome. Yeah, my when my youngest was born, my oldest was 8. So it's a pretty similar spread, but yeah, diapers maybe not so much. If I don't remember. It's been too long. I'm too old and it's been too long.
Like 10 years ago. That's
Yeah. So that's like yesterday was too long ago, honestly.
yeah.
But yeah, so it's good. I tell people, it's good, because you can have the older one help with, little things here and there. So it's nice. And
hmm
I'm sure like yours, mine get along, for the most part, they get along pretty well and they're pretty good friends. Occasionally,
Yeah.
like siblings do, they'll have their tiffs and their disagreements, but for the most part, they still like each other and hang out. So
hmm hmm
that's why I think the whole having kids close together so they can be friends and hang out's kind of like, yeah, because really doesn't matter what age they are or how far apart they are, they're still gonna find time to be together. So
Yeah. Yeah. And
yeah.
also hate each other.
That's very true. That's very, very true.
Yeah, I don't, my boy, I tell you what, he is very much like a hands-on person,
Yeah.
and my daughter is not. And so he will like just go full baby bear trying to like smack my oldest, and she has none of it. She's
Oh
a
man.
delicate desert flower. Um,
Nice.
so It's good. Parenting is fun, but
Yeah,
it's a challenge and it's something that I'm excited about tackling.
for sure.
Not actually tackling, but
Yeah. It's the best and hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
hmm
But yeah,
yeah.
I've got two girls. I didn't have a boy, and I've heard like everyone's like, "Aren't you so, don't you wish you would have ever had a boy? Like, are you upset you didn't have a boy?" I'm like, "No, no, nothing against anyone who has boys. I mean, I'm a boy myself, so apparently since my parents had a boy, but boys wreck your stuff, man. That's what I've been told by everybody. Boys wreck your stuff. Girls, girls will wreck you emotionally, but boys will wreck you physically." And
Yeah.
now being the dad to an 18-year-old teenager and a 10-year-old who's getting, on the skirt of being a preteen, yeah, they will hurt you emotionally. And you know what? I'd rather, those days are rough, but I'd rather that than be hurt physically sometimes. Actually, that's not true. Some days I would definitely rather be hurt physically because being a girl dad is tough. And luckily, I've got a bunch of other friends that are also girl dads, and they are the same
Oh,
thing. Like,
that's nice.
I my opinion is, kind of going back to being a little serious. I didn't care what gender kid I had as long as they were healthy. That's all that
hmm
mattered to me. So if
Yeah.
I don't have any boys, which I won't have any boys, but that's okay with me. I don't care not having
hmm
boys. And plus I'm getting too old to have any more kids. I can't have any more kids. I just turned 41 in September.
Oh, wow.
I can't have more kids.
You look like you're in your 30s, though. You look great.
I appreciate that. I actually look a lot younger without the beard. That's kind of why I keep it so I can look a little bit older. So,
Okay.
and my wife threatened to leave me if I shaved the beard off. So I
Oh,
gotta keep it
no.
up. I gotta keep it up. All right. Well, so the kind of the whole premise of the show, Fueled by Weird, is the to talk about the hobbies and interests, the stuff about you that you like doing that fuels who you are, and essentially what fuels your weird. So, what are some of the hobbies and interests that you have? What are some of the things you're into?
Oh, so many.
I get that for sure.
This is a huge one,
Ah,
Marvel.
nice.
Love almost everything Marvel.
Yeah.
Comics, movies, TV shows. Wonder Man just came out and it is so good.
Yeah.
Um, I've been loving that.
Nice.
But other than that, I really enjoy filmmaking in general, writing, especially screenwriting and reading. I'm ever since I was a kid, I pretty much just stayed inside, and that's kind of come along into my adulthood.
That's
Not a whole
awesome.
lot of outside things,
That's
but
okay. Being I wanted to be the same thing, but my dad would be like, "You spent many 2 hours. You spent too many hours inside. Go outside." And I'm like, I just
yeah.
went outside and I just be like this, like, "Can I come back inside yet? Because the outside sucks." And turns out the outside still sucks. And now I've kind of got to live my dream being an indoor cat now, which is weird because I'm allergic to cats, but I like
Oh
being
boy.
indoors. My my family is like, other people are like, how do you only leave your house like once or twice a week? I'm like, all my stuff's here. Why would I ever want to leave? I and like on the weekends, we'll go out and my wife and daughters will want to go to places and do things and they're like, "All right, is there anything you want to do?" And I'm like, "Yeah, go home. There's literally nothing in my town that I want to go and do because it's been done and there's nothing that's super exciting." So like, yeah, I just want
hmm
to go home. So, yeah, I totally
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said Wonder Man's good. I've not had a chance to watch it yet because I also have a good love for Marvel. I kind of lean toward a little bit more toward DC, but
Okay.
I like both. Just I'm real partial to Green Lantern. Ever since I was a kid, Green Lantern's been one of my super favorites. But I do very much like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Those were like my three
Okay.
growing up, my three main ones.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm super behind on all the Marvel stuff, and we've been trying to go through a Marvel movie rewatch forever, and I'm embarrassed how far behind we are.
Oh.
Um, but Wonder Man I heard is the most not Marvel thing Marvel has done, and that's a good thing. That's how it was described to me. And I was like, that sounds kind of not that, other Marvel stuff is bad, but that sounds kind of like a breath of fresh air kind of. What do you think?
hmm I don't know. I feel like it's my thing that I love about Marvel is that it's just like grounded very
Yeah.
much. It's the world outside your window, you know.
Yeah.
So for me that's like their brand. But I don't know. Not Marvel. That's what you've heard?
Yeah, that's what he said. And I was like, that
Huh.
makes sense, I guess, but I mean I haven't really seen it, so I don't get the context, but
Yeah.
I was like, okay, whatever.
I thought
Yeah,
it was pretty on brand for Marvel,
I've
but
not heard
hey,
anything bad about it, so I'm pretty excited to check it out myself. But again, I'm so far behind. I think so if you go by like the chronological order, I guess, for Marvel movie releases, I think we are up to Eternals, which
okay.
is so painful because like I want to get past there and like go to see all the like I haven't seen like Black Panther 2 yet. I haven't seen Ant-Man
Okay.
and Ant-Man 3. I haven't seen Thor 3 yet. I'm like, come on. But like my wife wants to watch him and my do oldest daughter wants to watch him, and my oldest daughter's always not home because she's 18 and she works and
Mm,
has, stuff to do. And so it's
yeah.
very hard to get through these, but one of these
Yeah.
days I'm going to.
I watched Thor 3 recently. I think maybe last November. And I've been holding off because I heard like all these terrible things about it, like, oh my gosh. But I don't know if it was because I was like sick at the time or what, but I thought it was beautiful and like I was crying at the end. It was
Yeah. Oh, and I'm
it,
wrong. It's not Thor 3, it's Thor 4. Love and
or
Thunder. That's
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
one I
Love
haven't
and
seen yet.
Thunder.
3 is
Yeah,
amazing. 3 is fantastic.
right. It's fun.
Love and Thunder I
Yeah.
haven't quite seen. And I don't get all the hate
Yeah.
for the Taika Waititi Thor movies. I think they're fantastic.
Yeah.
It kind of
Yeah.
it's one of those like where you see all these serious type movies and these ones kind of take themselves a little less seriously, and I'm like,
Mhm.
what's wrong with that? Like there's so
Yeah.
much serious stuff in the world. What's wrong with a little bit of change? There's
Goofy,
nothing wrong with that,
fun.
right?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that.
I think if you're a fan of the comics, then you're gonna want like the first two movies. But like
Yeah.
if you're just here for a good time, go with the other ones.
Yeah,
Like
there you go. There you go.
yeah.
For sure. All right, so I kind of want to take a trip in the Wayback Machine now and go all the way back to your childhood. So,
Oh boy.
we've talked about this a little bit that your writing is your thing. So, I kind of
Mhm.
want to know what it was that originally inspired you to pursue becoming a writer in the first place.
Oh boy. Well, I've been writing for forever, it seems like.
Hmm.
I know in fifth grade I like at least I went to my computer and I typed up all these stories and then I brought them into my English teacher and I'm like, look at this, and she loved it. It was just a lot of fun. And as I continued to grow, I kept reading stuff. I read, this is like, if anybody knows what it is, I'm going to be so excited. It's called Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians, and it's by Brandon Sanderson. And it's so much fun. And
Right up now.
so I was obsessed with those books, like to the point where I would carry all four novels in my backpack and I would stop at my locker between classes to get each textbook for my
Yeah.
next class, but I would carry the four novels with me every class I went to.
Oh,
Just
that's
because if
cool.
there's a break, like I'm gonna be reading it. But yeah, I think that really inspired a love of reading and therefore writing. Because I wrote fan fiction of it, and I think fan fiction is such a fun thing.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
you can be a part of the world that you
Yeah,
love, and
absolutely.
then yeah, so it's so much fun. And I've always kind of done that. Um, but then as I kept growing up, I got really into music and I excelled at that. Um, I like, for instance, I started piano like at the end of eighth grade, and by the end of my freshman year, I was teaching piano.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
So yeah, so I was very good at music and
Nice.
I enjoyed songwriting. Um, and so I made all these like songs that really should have been like short films or something because there's just so much story in them. And so that's what I ended up going to college for. I went for music education at first, kind of going with the piano teaching thing.
Yeah.
And then I left that college and did Berklee College of Music and did kind of like a songwriting music business situation. And then I graduated December 2019, which leads us into 2020. And that
Yeah.
was pandemic.
Yeah.
So I was going to, well, I wanted to move to like Los Angeles or New York to pursue music supervision,
Yeah.
which is like the people who place the music in the movie. So if you
Mhm.
hear like, I don't know, Thunderstruck in a movie, like the music supervisor is the one who helped put it there.
Yeah.
And so that's what I wanted to do. And uh but I also had like a 4-month-old baby. And I'm like, maybe it's not the best time to move to a big city in the middle of a pandemic. So I had to pivot and I'm like, okay, what can I do at home that's, still something that I enjoy and maybe it's not songwriting right now because I was kind of burnt out after
Yeah.
college.
Mhm.
So I started writing a novel and I ended up hating it. It's just like for me, novels, they seem to be like, he said, she said, he said, she said, he said, she said.
Yeah.
And it gets kind of boring after a
For
while.
sure.
And so I decided to move into like filmmaking because I really obviously like movies and
Yeah.
TV. And so yeah, that's kind of that whole story.
Yeah, I think, with the pandemic, it kind of really helped people. Like, not really helped, but like what it was, it kind of did two things from what I can tell. It either spurred someone to finally get going on their creative project that they've always wanted to do, they never had the time to do, or they kind of just, you know, hunkered down and just kind of tried to ride the wave and yeah, like kind of, make sure they got out and, rode the waves all the way to the end. And, I had good intentions to try to be the former, but I think I just ended up being the latter. Just like, well, I'm here and I have a bunch of free time, but I'm just gonna do stuff that's not productive, like sit and try to catch up on TV shows and stuff like that, which
It's,
you know,
you
it's
know,
it's
it's
productive in a different, I
research.
guess it's
It's
productive in a different
research.
way, I guess. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Research. That's a good way to put it. Um, but no, that's really cool. I'm glad you're able to find a way to pivot into still being able to use your talent and use your interests, but kind of form it and put it into a different way. That's really cool. And
Thanks.
I haven't heard of Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians, but I just looked it up while you were talking about it. And just based on the covers alone, it looks like stuff that I would be interested in because kind of going back to reading a little bit, I don't typically read a lot of books that are meant for grown-ups. Um, I usually read like young adult stuff. Like
Oh yeah.
some of the favorite stuff I've read was the Janitor series. That was incredible. Those books are
Yeah.
super fun. And there's another series I read about wizards that I think it was Wizards for Hire, I think. Um,
Okay.
those were pretty fantastic too. But yeah, I'm a super big fan of YA books because they're just a lot more fun and they don't take themselves super seriously. And just anything that looks like fun and lighthearted, I'll definitely tackle, especially like the Last Kids on Earth books. I've read the crap out
Okay.
of those. Those are super good. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely adding these to my list because it looks like there is six now with
Are there six now?
it says six.
Okay.
Thought it said something about seven, but it
Oh wow.
says the sixth one came out in 2022.
Okay.
So there's
All
so
right.
2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, and then 2016, and then 2022. So there's a little bit of a gap. Um,
Yeah. I don't know. I read up through the fourth one and I said, this ended perfectly.
yeah.
I'm not reading any.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there's a pretty big gap between the fourth and the fifth one, so I don't blame you, honestly. But I'm super stoked to
But
add those to my to read
all
list.
right.
That's
Yeah, they are a ton of fun. They're very like middle school for sure.
that's okay.
But yeah, they're a lot of fun and it's very goofy and yeah. I made my dad read them when I was
Yeah.
in middle school and it wasn't fun anymore because then he's just like, now I know what you're referencing, and then I'm like, this isn't cool anymore. Okay, let's do something else.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm that kind of stuff is right at like you're just selling this series to me more and more. That's right up my alley. So I'm super, super stoked. I'm definitely
Yeah.
adding that to my list.
All right. Yeah.
So, with your writing, you mentioned that you kind of transition a little bit more into, directing kind of thing. Is that how you decided to pivot into screenwriting? Because you kind of went from, and going back a little bit, I can understand the whole novel thing because I took part in National Novel Writing Month several times in a
Okay.
row. And
Hmm.
to write that novel, there does end up being a lot of he said, she said, and by the time you're done, that's like the absolute thing you don't want to look at is your novel. And I totally can relate to the hating it because it's like you just spent a month writing it and it's total garbage, but you just had to write words to get words out, and the point was
Yeah.
not to edit, the point's just to get words out. So yeah,
Hmm.
totally can relate with that. So I'm right there with you. Um, so with your pivot from more prose writing to more screenwriting, was that just because of your pivot to directing, or what made you decide to kind of shift in that direction?
So initially, I wasn't even really that interested in directing.
Mhm.
But really, I feel like unless you know a lot of people in the industry, one of the best things that you can ever do is just direct your own stuff.
Sure.
Just so you have something. You can be like, hey, I have this short film. Because unfortunately, a lot of people don't really read anymore. And that's
Yeah.
really sad. But yeah, if you ask someone to read like a 30-page screenplay versus, hey, do you want to watch this 5-minute short film I made? You'll probably get more people to go on YouTube and watch the short film.
It's true.
Um, and there's things to be said about that, but I won't say them.
Sure.
But yeah, and it's been interesting for me personally. Learning to direct has been kind of a journey because I don't have like a mind's eye. So like when I close my eyes, I don't see anything. And I guess that's kind of unusual. Like you can close your eyes, and if somebody says, okay, picture your mom's face, people can actually see stuff.
Yeah.
And I cannot whatsoever. So directing is obviously a very visual thing. And so I've just had to find ways to kind of counteract the seeing the movie in your head
Yeah.
narrative and do things a different way. So, yeah, I'm working on that.
Nice. Well, that's cool because everyone has their own process, and just because a process doesn't work for you doesn't mean, or just because a process works for one person doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody. So everyone has to kind of find their own thing. So that's cool that you're, kind of, learning and developing your own way to do it. And that's awesome.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Now, I saw when I was doing my research of stuff to talk about that you recently made a trip to the Writers Guild Foundation Library. Why don't we
Yes.
talk a little bit about, how that trip came to be,
Oh,
how the trip
okay.
was, kind of let's talk about it.
Yes. Okay. So there are some Marvel screenplays online, but not all of them. And not all of them exist at the Writers Guild Library either, but there are a lot of them there. And I said, okay, if I want to write for Marvel, which I do, I need to read all this stuff. So I decided, okay, I'm going to go out to LA. I need to meet some of the people that I've been talking to on LinkedIn and stuff anyway. I'm just going to go, I'm going to make a trip out of it. And so that's what I did. And it was so cool. Um, people are going to look at it and be like, you are such a huge nerd because I spent like the whole week in the library, like from open to close. I was there and I was just reading screenplays,
Oh wow.
which is super fun for me.
Yeah.
But anybody else would just be like, oh, what, you're in Los Angeles. Like, I don't go to, I don't know what, go to
Yeah.
Disneyland. I
Sure.
don't, but yeah, I did that. And I got to meet up for coffee with some people that I've been talking to over LinkedIn, some industry people. And yeah, so it was a really good time. I learned so much. And yeah, I think the biggest thing that I learned was that, Marvel screenplays, they're not like printed on gold leaf paper. You know, they're just really good stories. And
Yeah.
like I knew that, but I don't I don't know. I think there are some things that we just hold really high in our hearts.
Sure.
And that's that's what I was kind of going out there and thinking that I was gonna somehow find this like magical formula to get this thing to, have Kevin Feige call me. Like, but no, there really wasn't. So, biggest thing that I took away from that is just keep working, keep making stuff, keep making it awesome, and eventually you'll get there. It might be like a decade, which really sucks, but you'll get there. So,
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. That's really cool. Now, you mentioned that, a lot of people might think that's nerdy, but a lot of people are also going to think that's super awesome that you got to just be surrounded by all this awesome, awesome Marvelness. Now, in addition to, obviously, several Marvel scripts, what other kind of reference material can you find at the Writers Guild Foundation Library?
Oh, like any movie or TV show that's decently big, you can probably find there. I read, let's see, I read the Cars screenplay.
Oh, wow.
I read some of the boys because one of the pilots that I wrote, it's got like the intrigue of the boys, but I'm too scared to watch the boys.
It's
So
pretty intense.
so
It's very
I
intense.
read I read the boys, not the
Yeah.
comic. I read the
Yeah.
screenplay, which just sounds so goofy, but that's what I did.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Um, and yeah, just like a lot of movies and TV shows, there were like Agents of Shield episodes.
Nice.
Um, yeah, anything. Oh, they have Sinners there now. Ryan
Oh,
Coogler
cool.
signed it, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
Um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and let me just specify when I say The Boys isn't that bad, I mean
It's
reading the script isn't that bad. That's if you're not a fan of pretty graphic stuff, that's probably a great way to go to be able to read it. I mean, I could only imagine that you kind of get from the context there's probably some pretty graphic stuff in there because I've
yep.
I've read some of the comic, I've read or I've watched all of the show. They don't translate exactly. It's not into like a direct adaptation, but they're both pretty intense in their own way.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
if you're not a big fan of this stuff, reading the script is probably a much better way to go. But that's
Yeah.
pretty cool that there's, pretty much any, big name pop culture TV movie event kind of is there, and that's pretty awesome.
hmm And
Very,
they have
very
stuff
cool.
that like was never even made too, like unproduced scripts.
Really?
And those are fun. Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of being able to see like what could have been.
hmm hmm
Awesome. Very, very cool. All right. So, we talked a lot about Marvel. We mentioned, all sorts of good Marvel stuff. What was it that, originally got you interested in Marvel in the first place?
My husband.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Um, so we're going back a little bit.
Okay.
I was in high school, I believe, when Captain America Civil War came out. And I
Oh,
had
that
no
makes me feel so old.
Marvel anything whatsoever. And so for just like a field trip day, they took us to
Yeah,
the theater to see, Civil War.
nice.
And I had no idea what was going on. whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I was kind of annoyed and I didn't watch any other Marvel anything. And then I met my now husband several years later in college, and he gave me this list of movies I had to watch before he would marry me.
Oh wow. Okay. Right on.
And there were like all the Marvel movies. And I'm like, I don't want to watch these. Are you kidding me? Um, but I did, and then I loved them.
That's love right there. Yeah.
Like I started, well, I didn't start with, but we went and watched Spider-Man Homecoming in
Okay.
theaters.
Yeah.
And I saw it, and I remember just this twist of Liz Toombs' dad being the vulture. And I'm like, no, what? What? And that is what sold me on Marvel. And yeah, now I love it.
That's awesome. That's a cool field trip. And the fact that you were in high school when that movie came out makes me feel so old. But yeah, that's love, man, right there. If you end up watching all those movies just because your husband's like, you should watch these, like that's true dedication right
Well,
there.
after a
Yeah.
while, I got kind of into it. But yeah, at first, well, he showed me the X-Men movies first, and I,
Yikes. I mean,
yeah.
don't get me wrong, I love the X-Men and those movies were awesome to finally like see comic books come to life, kinda. But
Mhm.
woof, man. What a way to start.
Yeah, yeah. And he's a Wolverine guy. My husband's a
Okay.
Wolverine guy, and I'm just not. I
I get
have
it. I
friends
get
who
it.
are, but I'm like, it's just not my thing, you
Yeah,
know?
he's kind
But
of fun, but I'm with you. He's far from my favorite. If I was to pick a favorite X-Men, I would probably go, well, not probably. I know exactly who I'd go with. Iceman, Gambit, and Colossus are my favorite X-Men.
okay, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like Storm. She's cool.
she's very cool.
But yeah.
Very cool. So yeah, X-Men, that's a definitely an interesting way to get into the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. It
the
was it was a
Sony
lot.
Fox, the Sony Fox universe was, or the Marvel Fox universe, sorry, the Marvel Fox universe was that was a trip, man. I'm very excited to see some of the new stuff they're doing and kind of
Mhm.
revamping everything. I'm very, very excited for that.
Yeah, yeah. And the X-Men 97 animated show is really fun.
Oh, so good.
Um, I
So,
like that. Yeah.
so good. I love how they pretty much just carried on from the original one from the 90s. It's
Right. Yeah. And in the season two that they're doing now, it has the original, some of the original people who were doing it.
really
Yeah, yeah, Julia
that's cool.
Leewald. She was a writer on the original show, and so she's show running now, and I'm really excited for her.
That's cool. Very, very cool. All right. So, again, when I was doing my research, I saw tons of videos of you as Mr. James Buchanan Barnes. Um,
Yeah.
and your most popular, reference screenplay was your Winter Soldier screenplay. So, for those that don't know about the awesome Winter Soldier screenplay you wrote, why don't we talk a little bit about that?
All right. So it is called The Winter Soldier Silent Night, and it takes place between Captain America, the First Avenger, and Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And so it is December 1989, and the Winter Soldier is in cryostasis, and they wake him up and they say, hey, there's a situation in Romania. We need you to go over there. So he goes over there, and it's because of the Romanian Revolution, which is a real event in world history.
Yeah.
Um, and he gets there, and it's Christmas time, and that starts to trigger things in his memory. And he eventually remembers that he's Bucky. And so I think it's just fun that there's like 70 years, I think, of story between the first Avenger and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And like there's gotta be something in there. So
Right.
I wrote it.
That's awesome. So like, are you like planning to make that or like I mean, does it exist as more than just a screenplay? Have you tried to do, like, what have you tried to do with it?
I I can't really do much because I'm not associated with Marvel.
That's true.
But if I got a job with Marvel, I could possibly just be like, hey. But my biggest thing right now is just if I talk about it places, then, people might be like, hey, that's a really good idea. And then they'll be like, hey, Marvel, you should make this thing. And then maybe they'll maybe talk to me. There's a lot of maybes.
Hey, that's okay.
But
You gotta start somewhere.
right, right.
That's super rad.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So, you'd mentioned some other things that you've been working on. Why don't we talk a little bit about Constantine?
All right. So that's another Romanian thing. Um, there was this guy in real life named Constantine, and he helped people escape the communist Romanian regime by cargo ship. So he would smuggle people out of the country on a cargo ship because I mean it was real messed up over there. Like if they caught you like trying to escape, then they would either shoot you or imprison you where things did not end up well. Like you probably wouldn't leave with all your teeth. Like
Oh, wow.
it was not a pretty situation at all. So he helped people escape, and I just really wanted to explore that. I learned about him in this Vanity Fair article. It was just like maybe a paragraph or two, and I'm like, that's so neat.
That is,
So I did all the research that I could, and there wasn't a lot, but I had learned about the Romanian Revolution in kind of the regime when I was researching my Winter Soldier screenplay. So that was pretty cool that I could kind of connect those two things in a way.
that is cool. So, talking about research, when you were researching the Winter Soldier screenplay and Constantine, like what kind of reference material did you go back to and kind of study for preparation in writing those?
Oh boy. There were a lot of podcasts of like real people who had lived through that time.
Mhm.
A lot of interviews. There were some newspaper articles. But again, it was communist regime, so they were very heavily censored.
Yeah.
Um, and like even stuff like having a book, like you had to be really careful what kind of stuff you owned,
Sure.
because like they could imprison you for being against the party. um but yeah, so other places would do that, and then if you managed to escape or after the Romanian Revolution, then you would get those real life first person people who talked about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were those interviews. People had written books that I read. Um, Watched some like documentaries, and yeah.
Very cool. You definitely did your research, it sounds like. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Very cool.
thanks.
All right, so why don't we take a few minutes to talk about your project Zero?
Okay, zero. Oh my gosh, I love that one so much. So, like, I think the very first word in that is chaos.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Um, so okay, there's this woman named Annie Brodkovich, and she lives in New York City, and she is so over superpowered individuals because, it's New York City, and they're always coming in and they're always wrecking New York City, right?
Yeah.
So she's walking to work one day, and there's like this superhero flying overhead, and she's just like, whatever. And she's still walking to work. And then she's trying to get to her friend's breakfast truck because she's hungry. And this motorcycle comes crashing through the breakfast truck. She's like, are you kidding me? She turns around, says, hey, what the heck? And the supervillain's there, and he's like descends, and she's like, probably gonna get killed.
Yeah.
She punches it ends up being the superhero in the face because the hero comes in to save her from the supervillain, and she punches the hero in the face,
Oh God.
depowers him.
Wow.
And then she hits the villain because he's like, what the heck just happened? Depowers him. And she doesn't
Huh.
know what's going on. She goes to work. But yeah, so it's really I've had so much fun writing it. I'm having so much fun talking about it. But yeah, so it's kind of got like the intrigue of the boys, like,
Yeah.
the bad guys are going to want a piece of her, the good guys are going to want a piece of her, the government's going to want their, and so it's got kind of the intrigue of the boys, but like more Marvel-y because I'm not into the blood and gore and everything else.
And all the other gratuitousness.
Yes.
Gotcha. No,
Yep.
that sounds super rad. Like, cause like I don't want you to stop talking, but I want you to like keep going. Like, what else happens? Like, I need to read the rest of this. I need to know what happens. That's such a cool idea. Like,
Thanks.
not that any of these other ones aren't awesome, but like this one definitely is like, okay, like she just some lady who punches superpowered individuals and they just lose their powers. Like, why? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how does that happen? Like,
Mm-hmm.
can she give the powers back? Does she absorb the powers? Does she take like what happens? Like, oh,
Yeah.
that's incredible. I love that. Oh,
Thank
that's so
you.
good. That's so good.
Thanks.
Okay, so now why don't we take a minute to talk about jars of sound?
Oh boy, that's the deep cut reference there.
Okay.
Jars of Sound is a short film that I made last year, and I've been trying to get it into a film festival, but I only submitted to three film festivals. So two of the three of them have said no. I'm still waiting to hear back from one. I'm not holding huge high expectations for that one. But it was my first short film that I made that I ever did anything with. So that's fine. But I love it. It's in this silent world, and it's very relevant for today, actually, I feel. It's
Okay.
in this silent world, and this woman goes out and she digs up in this field these jars, and she opens them and sound comes out. And in some of them, I'll just tell you because I don't think it's going to give too much away.
Okay.
But some of them talk about how, like, you shouldn't be silent about things that matter. And she ends up just closing the jars, reburying them, and walking out because it's easier just to pretend that that never happened.
Wow, that is extremely powerful. And like you said, it's very relevant to our time. That's so good. And what do you mean you only submitted to three festivals? That's
They're
incredible. But see,
expensive.
like most people don't even submit to any, and you did to three. So even that two shot you down, you still submitted to three. That's incredible.
Thank you.
So
I
yeah, don't sell
appreciate
yourself
that.
short. That's awesome. Like
Thank
only
you.
three? Of course, it's three. That's three more than I've ever done. That's three more than tons of other people have done. So
That's
congratulations to you.
true.
That's rad.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome. That's super cool. Um, and speaking of your short films, I see here that you directed a bunch of other short films that you kind of wanted to take some time to talk about. Or
Oh,
you've got some
yes.
coming up that you're
I'm
going to
planning
direct.
on it.
Yes,
Yes.
sorry.
Yes.
Apologize.
I've written the screenplays, but yeah, directing has not happened yet. But yeah, I've got three kind of actiony ones and one just kind of drama one. Um, the drama one is it's fun for me. I don't know about anybody else.
Sure.
Uh, but I am a part of five generations of women. So my daughter, me, my mom, my grandma, and then my great grandma is like 104 and
Oh,
she's still
wow.
living.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, she's really cool. And she's
That's
still
cool.
with it too, which
Very
is so
cool.
cool.
That is cool.
Um, yeah, my funniest story about her is she left school to go see Snow White when it was in theaters, like
Oh
the
wow.
original. And yeah, she played hooky. And then when she got
Awesome.
home, the truancy officer was at her house.
Oh
So
no.
she got in trouble
Oh man.
by, for going to see Snow White, which I think is so funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I thought it would be cool to explore just kind of like if each one of the five generations of women was one person. So we start off with like my 5 year old and then me and then my mom. And it's like if we're the same person telling the same story.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just at different ages. And I
Cool.
I think that's cool, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
And the
for
other ones,
go
oh, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you're
Go
good.
ahead.
Good. Go ahead.
No, 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 no. Go
Well, I
ahead.
was just gonna say that is kind of a cool idea because, first of all, finding five generations in a family, especially of women, is very, very rare these days. Um, and just the fact that, it the story you're telling of the same character in different generate phases of life kind of makes sense because, I mean, you're all related, so you're all ideally going to look very similar to each other. So that's kind of a
Hmm.
cool way to do it. Plus, I mean, it's a
Yeah,
good way to spend some time together with your family. So
right.
also a
Yeah.
bonus. So very cool.
Yeah. I just filmed some with my daughter, and she did not like being outside playing in the snow, which is like, come on, you're playing in the snow. I'm just happy you made some snow angels. But yeah, she wasn't a fan of that. So I don't know if any of that footage is usable.
No, that's
But
cool.
well, there's tons of other different things we can do. And like I'm the
Yeah.
screenwriter. So the fun
Yeah.
thing is I can just change it to whatever.
Just
So
pivot. It's fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's so much of filmmaking is just pivoting. What else can we do?
Sure.
With Jars of Sound, I had written in that like she goes down by this stream, and the stream that I wanted to go by was completely dry. There was no water going through it whatsoever. So I'm like, okay, let's pivot. Let's do something different. And so that's what we ended up doing. But
Nice. That's
yeah.
kind of the cool thing about just being a creator in general that, you have plans and you want to go one way, but then sometimes the story takes you a totally different direction. Or,
Mhm.
in this case, sometimes the environment takes you in a different direction. So, you got to
Right.
be able to pivot on the fly. So that's very cool.
Mhm. Mhm.
So what are some of the other ones that you got coming up that you're going to direct?
Okay, so I have one. It's like an action comedy, action comedy short.
Hmm.
And it's this dad, and he was out riding his bike, and he has back problems, and so he comes in, and he's like, "Oh my gosh!" His wife's like, "Maybe you're too old to be out on that bike." And then cue like massive Fast and Furious score. He's like, oh nope, it's time to get some respect. And so he goes out and builds this bike ramp, and he's gonna jump this kiddie pool.
Oh man.
And yeah, so you have to find out if he makes it or not.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's called The Fast and the Fatheress, which I love.
That's awesome. Dad
Thanks.
joke pun title. You gotta love it. I like
Yeah,
it. I like it a lot. That's awesome.
thanks. Oh boy, and then I have two more. What are the other ones? The one I'm really nervous for because it's the most like involved one. It's called Anonymous Hero. And like I'm gonna have to actually like call places and be like, hey, can I use this location? And I'll probably have to get like filming insurance and stuff.
Yeah.
But there that one is about this superhero from one universe, and this villain ends up throwing her into this other universe where her powers don't exist there. And she has to stop this car from hitting this kid, and we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, I am very nervous because, like, I'm gonna have to make like a superhero, an original superhero costume, um, which I have no experience. Well, that's not true. I have like a tiny bit of cosplay experience. I made my Bucky arm.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, it's like, whoo, that's gonna be a lot. But hopefully it'll be fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember the other one.
Okay.
So, um, it's that one's gonna be hopefully a lot easier to do. Um, but it's this person and they go down to their basement and they plug something into a laptop and this countdown begins. It's like uploading, uploading, uploading. And they like go through like the 5 stages of grief while this thing that we don't really know what it is uploading. And then, yeah, things happen. I'm really bad at like wanting to give away my endings on all my
It's
short
okay.
films because
Yeah.
like they're short films, but
Yeah.
they're fun. So, yeah.
Very cool. Now, when you end up getting these filmed, is there going to be anywhere that, people could watch them? Are you going to like put them on YouTube or something like that or on social media?
So I assuming I don't get in, well, I should assume that I won't get into this other film festival.
Yeah.
If I don't get into this other film festival, I'll throw it up on YouTube. Jars of Sound. The other
Very cool.
ones, depending on how much I still love them after I finish them,
Sure.
I might put it up on YouTube or I'll be like, hey, this is good. I'm gonna put this in a film festival. And I might, spend a couple $100 trying to get into a film festival on some of them. But
Nice.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, film festivals are expensive, dude.
Oh,
And
I'm
that's not
sure.
even counting like trying to go to it, like
Yeah.
flights or gas or whatever. So it's like, well, yeah, you gotta throw that in your budget if you're gonna do it. And
For
my
sure.
stuff is like zero budget because money, but
Totally get it. Totally get it. All right. Well, um, if you were, before I let you go, I want to do one last thing. If you were to share a bit of a creative advice to the listening audience, what is some creative advice that you'd like to share?
oh boy. Um, I guess don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I never thought that I would put videos of myself singing Christmas songs parodied as Bucky Barnes to kind of promote that screenplay that I made. But here we are. There are, several videos of me cosplaying as Bucky and singing songs. Um, but yeah, just don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to try to talk to people. I've met so many people just on LinkedIn or on Instagram. Just be cool. Like, don't be, you know, just ask. I think that's the thing. Just ask. Like, you never know until you ask. So, yeah.
Some of the best advice I've ever heard from a cartoon show, I actually believe, is don't be a dick, be a dude. And I think that that kind of sums up what you're trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And no,
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you though. When it comes to putting yourself out there, I'm so bad at that. Like I'm more like stay on the sidelines and don't get in trouble and just kind of don't rock the boat, don't stir the pot, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's totally my
Mm-hmm.
vibe. But I never thought that I would be doing a video podcast ever because I've been doing podcasting for like a little over a decade in and out of
Oh,
podcasting and
wow.
it's all just been audio. But
Mm-hmm.
when this podcast started, it's like, hey, we're gonna throw you in the deep end and put you on video. And I'm like, I don't want to do video because I don't like being on camera that much because I just don't. And they're like, well, get over it because you're gonna be on camera. Here you go. And here's your first person. So that was really kind of a big thing to try to get over. So I'm right there with you, just filming myself doing stuff like it's
Mm-hmm.
it's very, very hard, but it's, like you said, you got to put yourself out there and, once you do, stuff happens. So
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
very
And
cool.
if you have a good idea, don't let some idiot talk you out of it.
Yeah, because
That's a
just
Stan Lee quote right there.
just
But
because it might exist already or someone thinks it's stupid, go ahead and do it anyway because it's your version of it. And
hmm
I've said this on several different episodes of this show, like some of the ideas that people think are the stupidest ideas end up being the most fun. So don't think
Hmm.
it's too stupid. You should always just try and do it because who knows what it's going to turn out to be.
Right. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Amy, where can people stay up to date with stuff you're doing on the internet? Where can people find out about all your releases, all your movies, all that stuff? Where can people find you?
So on Instagram, I'm just Amy Piero. On TikTok and YouTube, Amy Piero was taken. So I have to be
Rude.
Amy Piero 3010. So
Nice.
yeah,
Very cool.
3010, not
Very cool.
O, but yeah. And if you're a
Very cool.
professional, you can find me on LinkedIn. So yeah.
Very cool. Now, for me, I'd like to thank Polygon Horizon. Their song Pizza Force is the song we use for the show. Go check them out on all the different music platforms because they're amazing. You can find Fueled by Weird on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and you can shoot me an email at Fueled by Weird and chat with me about whatever you want to chat about. Fueled by Weird's on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find all these links on my Linktree. Go look that up. There's lots of stuff there. Check out my dude Hassel Hutchinson. His show, The Nerdy Manroom Show, is on YouTube. He's got lots of good stuff there. The Nerdy Manroom Show with Hassel and Monster. Hassel's Review, where he reviews all sorts of different things, toys and movies and all that stuff. And Card Subject to Change. If you're a pro wrestling fan, he does a lot of what ifs for pro wrestling, so go check those out. The two of us with some other our buddies, we make up the Stay Weird Network. It's a podcast network dedicated to bringing some awesome back to the internet because the internet needs more awesome. It's a lot of suck sometimes, so it needs some more good
Yes,
stuff. Um,
absolutely.
Check us out on YouTube and Instagram at Stay Weird Network and shoot us an email at stayweirdnetwork@gmail.com. We kind of been a little bit slow putting new content out there, but we've started kind of pushing some stuff over there. Hassel does some reviews of, or he'll tell you about some hidden horror movie gems that you should watch because if you're a big fan of horror, he is too. I've started a series about music where I just share music that I like that you should listen to. And if you like it, cool. If you don't, that's cool too. I just want to tell people about this music because it's awesome. If you like the show, leave a review and tell your friends because word of mouth is my friend. And remember, kids, it's only weird if you make it weird. So make it real weird. Amy, thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight.
Thank you.
Absolutely.